You are listening to Indie Soul Rhythms with Moochie Alfonso.
It's good for us, and it's good for me, yeah.
The show that brings you the very best in indie soul. It's probably the grooviest show on the planet.
Salyse.
Salyse, yes.
Yes.
Nice to have you on board. How you
Thank you for
doing?
having me. Good. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm excellent. So what's the weather like in Atlanta?
Today it's actually a dreary day. We had a very hot day yesterday. It was in the 90s here. I think we had some rain, so it's looking a little gray, but it's still very hot and humid.
Oh, it sounds pretty much like here in London. Yeah, it
Yeah.
rained. We had a good weekend. Rained in the morning. The sun is just coming out. As I look outside my window, it's sunny outside. So nice to have you, as I said. And I think we should just get into this because I know our listeners are
All
eager
right.
to hear who you are, what you do, and the rest of it. So that's how I always start my show. I like to go to
All
the
right.
very beginning and ask you to tell us who you are and where you're from.
Okay, so I am Salyse. I'm a singer-songwriter based in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, and I moved down to Atlanta to chase my dreams in the music industry.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
And how did that come about?
So it started when I was attending Berklee College of Music in Boston. I was there for 2 years and felt the need to go somewhere new. And for some reason, Atlanta was calling my name, and I ended up transferring to Emory University, which is where I got my introduction to Atlanta. Once I graduated, I moved back to Boston for a year. And since I had had a taste of what it was like to be in Atlanta, I made it my pride to just be back in Atlanta. So I officially moved down here during the pandemic in 2020, although I didn't know it was going to be a pandemic when I moved here.
All right.
It kind of happened as soon as I got here, but I've been here ever since. And yeah, Atlanta's a beautiful place. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I know it is Hotlanta.
It sure is.
So that's where you got your African American Studies degree, right, at Emory.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
so what were your takeaways from your time there?
So when I made the transfer to Emory, I felt it was very important for me to be educated in the community that I'd be representing as an artist in the music industry. I feel it's very important for me to utilize my platform to uplift the masses and, be a positive influence in culture. So that's why I decided to study African American studies, and I came away with my history on my back and knowing where I need to go and what I have to do to be a positive person in the world. So yeah.
I like that. I don't know if you
Thank
know,
you.
there's a Bob Marley song that says, "Know your history to know your destiny."
Yes.
I like that.
Yep.
That you said you've got your history on your back. I love that.
hmm
Uh-huh. So when was the first time you knew that you had the gift to sing and write songs?
So the first time I knew I had the gift to sing and write songs, I did musical theater as a child. So I was, performing a lot when I was young, but it didn't really start coming together for me until I started to write my own music, which actually happened because I was being bullied. I was, I believe, 12 or 13 years old, and I had a pretty bad experience in school. And one of my mentors had said, "Hey, Salyse, you should sit down and write out your emotions." And he gave me a list of adjectives and he taped it to my wall. And so when I would come home from school, I'd start to, pick an adjective that described how I was feeling and just kind of write around that word. And those feelings became poetry, became songs. And when I finally started to record my own music and I was seeing the response I was getting from my writing, I knew that I had something special. And then in terms of, knowing that I could move people through my music, when I was up in Boston, I was a part of this incredible disco group called Vinyl Groove. We had done a bunch of shows. I was with them from high school graduation up until I moved back to Atlanta in 2020. Um, I made a pretty decent fan base up there performing all the disco music and house music and soul music from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And I remember when I told them I was leaving Atlanta, people were crying. People were very emotional. They didn't want to see me go because they loved me performing up there so much. And I was able to take them back and, they could enjoy the music that was so nostalgic for them. So I knew that I really had been able to move people through my performance. So yeah, it's kind of how I gauged, okay, I might be onto something here.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing. And so growing up, which artist would you say influenced you the most musically and why?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the biggest artists that inspired me growing up were Shaka Khan and Marvin Gaye. I grew up with a mother who loved disco and soul and a father who loved house music. So that's kind of where my biggest inspiration started, a good groove, powerful lyrics. I'm Every Woman is an anthem.
Yeah.
Um, Mercy, Mercy, Inner City Blues by Marvin Gaye. These are songs that really inspired me to be a songwriter. And yeah, they still have an influence on me today.
Yeah, talking about I'm Every Woman, I the other day I was listening to the Aretha Franklin version and I was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
this woman just knew how to sing. She just
Sure
made that
did.
song her own. I know Whitney
She
did.
did. Yes.
Whitney put a different spin to it, but when I heard the
Mm-hmm.
Aretha version, I was
Aretha's
like,
is, yeah,
wow, wow,
yeah.
yeah,
That's talent right there to
amazing.
take something and make it your own. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, great. So, what would you be doing if you were not making music right now?
Ooh. um, what would I be doing? Like no music at all ever. I was never involved in music, or I just
Yeah,
didn't have the
if you were
opportunities.
not doing what you're doing right now, what else would you be doing?
I would probably want to work with animals. I think I'm an empath, and I know I'm an empath. And I believe that I would be really wonderful working with animals or children. I did have a couple jobs when I was growing up where I was an after school teacher with the youth, and I worked for after school programs, and I did enjoy working in those areas. So if I didn't have anything to do with music, I'd probably be somewhere in those fields.
You're the second person on this show who said working with animals. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
I mean, man, they're just happy all the time. What gets
Yeah.
for nothing better than that?
I love horses in particular because I think
Yes.
horses are quite soothing and comforting and they can make you relaxed and
Hmm.
yeah. So how would you describe your musical style?
I would say I am pop soul girl. I do a little bit of everything that falls under that umbrella. So my sounds are from disco to
Mhm.
house, some Afro beats, anything that grooves, man. I'm a groovy chick. So that's my umbrella, pop
Yeah.
soul.
Yeah, I saw one of your videos and yeah, I can kind of understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And if you had a blueprint and you
Mm.
were speaking to like a group of young people, aspiring artists, what would your blueprint look like?
Mm. Mm. Well, the first advice I'd give is don't overthink things, and get out of your own way. I think that as a musician, as a songwriter, as a creative in general, a part of being a creative is you are utilizing yourself as your vessel, right?
Yeah.
So it's really hard to not get in your head about the things that you're putting out, type of content. If you're making cover videos, if you're posting edits that you make. And so a lot of times we don't post things or we get in our own head like, oh, this isn't good enough. So
Yeah.
then we're not outwardly sharing the things that we're working on. And that actually ends up getting in your own way. Because if we want the world to hear us and see us and feel us, we have to be able to share as well. And it's never as bad as you think it is.
Yeah.
So always just go for it, believe in yourself, stay positive. It's already working out,
Yeah.
and yeah, yeah, get
And
out of your own way. You got this.
I like that. I like what you said about get your stuff out there because
Hmm.
I started doing these interviews just live on radio. And then one day I had like an aha moment and I thought, why not do a Zoom call? and make a video of it, put it on YouTube, share
I
with
love
the
it.
world. So that's what I'm doing
Yes.
now. Yeah.
Thank you. I love it. You are creating an amazing platform for artists like myself. So I appreciate it and thank you.
And no, it's my pleasure. This is like my passion. I've kind of given up some things that I was doing, and I thought, and I just need to focus on this. I love doing it. I love doing it, and so yeah, that that's
That's
where I'm at.
great. That's awesome.
And yeah, and so you've got a new single, and I know you said well, I think I read somewhere where it said you recorded this during the pandemic, Eve
Hmm.
of 420.
Yes.
And it's available on all platforms, digital platforms.
Hmm.
Can you talk us through what this song is about and
Yeah,
what inspired it?
absolutely. So Eva 420 is a feel good song. I wrote it during the pandemic. I remember exactly the moment where it came to me. I was staying in Airbnb, and it was the week where everything was shut down. It was actually more like a month of everything being shut down, or maybe even longer. It was such a crazy time. I put it behind me, but I remember stepping out onto the porch in the back and seeing everybody else who was also home, because everyone was home,
Yeah,
and watching how people were coping with the world.
yeah,
Some people were doing yoga on their porch. Some people were smoking a little weed. Some people were having a glass of wine on the phone, listening to music, singing, watching TV,
yeah,
writing, like everything possible you could do to have an outlet. I was watching happen in this little like backyard area of the Airbnb I was staying in. And it really inspired me to write Eva 420 because, I find it amazing how people use creative outlets
mm,
to cope with the blues of the world. And I think that was a time in our world where nobody knew what was going to happen next, or what was really going on. And so Eva 420 is an anthem to trust in the unknown and chase what feels good. That do the things that make you feel happy, that warm your soul and feed your spirit. Spend time with the people you love, dance, let your hair down,
yeah.
and just have a good time because this life is extremely, it could be extremely short for people and it can change in a flash. And so we have to enjoy every moment we have.
Totally agree. Because I remember that period of time. I was stuck in South Africa and they had a
Wow.
hard lockdown, so you
Hmm.
could not go anywhere.
Anywhere, yeah.
Yeah, I was indoors for about 3 months.
Yep,
Couldn't
that's
go
about the
anywhere.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
couldn't go
Atlanta was
anywhere.
a little bit less strict, but we did have a period where we were in a solid lockdown. And it was about
Yeah,
those 3 months were pretty much like if you go anywhere, you have to wear masks and stand like way far. Like yeah, it was it
yeah,
was it was a crazy time in our history to
yeah,
experience that. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad you wrote the song out of that, out of that situation. So what can we expect in 2024?
Man, 2024, it's been so good to me so far, and I'm so excited to see where things go. I have been working on my show. I'm so excited to start performing more and around and get my music out there and start having experiences with people who come and see me sing and perform.
Yeah,
So 2024, I expect to see me performing more and maybe releasing some more music.
and we'll look forward to that. Look forward to that.
Thank you. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Is there anything else you haven't done so far that you kind of feel like, I need to do this by maybe in 5 years' time or by next year I need to have done this?
Definitely be on tour. I would love to have my music take me across the world for performing.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. I'm looking forward to it. I know it's coming up for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I've been working on my show, my set, and how the arrangement sounds and the looks and all the things that come a part of the performance aspect of music. And so yeah, touring would be ideal, and I'm excited for it when it happens.
We'll look forward to that.
Yeah, hopefully I can come to London.
Oh, it'll be amazing. Yeah. Yeah. And so at this at this point in the interview, I like doing a couple of fun questions just to kind of
Okay.
relax things a little. Is there any person you would trade places with for a day?
Hmm. Any person I would trade places with for a day. I think I'd like to trade places with, hmm, I'm trying to think of somebody who, you know what? I'm going to say Colin Kaepernick because we have the same birthday. And I'm curious if we have experienced life similarly. I know he has had a crazy life and the things that he has had to endure
Mhm.
as a Black person in America, standing up for his community and his people.
Yeah.
And we have the same birthday, which is November 3rd. And yeah, I've always wondered what it's like to be in the shoes of someone who shares the same birthday as
Okay.
you. If there's
Mhm.
similarities, if the stars were in the same place they were in when you were born. So I think that's a person who I would like to just trade places for a day and get into his head.
Sure.
Yeah,
Interesting. And
yeah.
what's the worst piece of advice you've ever got?
Boy. Uh Probably to fill in my eyebrows. It's so funny. There's this trend on TikTok right now
Yeah.
that's going very viral of young girls showing pictures of how they used to wear their eyebrows. There's a very big trend back in like the mid 2000s where people were started to, hey, we can fill in our eyebrows, we can wear our eyebrows. And it looked like we all had Sharpies on our foreheads because people were filling them in so dark. And it just, yeah. And I got that advice, and I used to think I was rocking some really gray eyebrows, and they just look like thick
Yeah.
Sharpie marks across my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've learned since then, I hope, but yeah.
That's the worst advice. Yeah. And what's the best compliment you ever got?
The best compliment I've gotten, I've actually received it this year quite a bit, is that I am a breath of fresh air.
Oh,
I
lovely.
think that feels really good to hear, and if I can have that effect on people,
Mm.
that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing.
yeah.
Um, I just want to say, on behalf of all Soul Groove listeners, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today on Indie Soul Rhythms. Your time means a lot to us. And this platform is here for you anytime. So I wish you the very best in 2024 and hope you will continue to keep us informed of any new projects. Indie Soul Rhythms salutes you.
I will. Thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome getting to talk with you.
Thank you. And before you go, we talked about your new single, and I think
Yeah,
most people haven't heard it before. So can you do us the honor of introducing Eve of 420?
absolutely. So this is your girl Salyse, and you're about to listen to my new single called Eva 420, available on all platforms now.
Going day by day, shit's really been the same. Try not to get down, not to be afraid. Is it up to me? Just need to let it be. Now I can't get lost. I can't watch the news, it just brings me the blues. Scared what's going on, been going on too long. Don't know how life works, the dark always lurks. So chase what feels good, chase what feels good. Oh, step outside, spark it up, smoke a blunt. Ride the waves, get your vibe real high. Let it flow, keep it on, don't stop. Living life, laying low, staying up. Step outside, spark it up, smoke a blunt. Ride the waves, get your vibe real high. keep us small. Don't pay them mind at all, 'cause we got shit to do. So keep on pulling through. Keep on pulling through. Keep on pulling through. Step outside, ride the waves, pitch your vibe real high. Let it flow, keep it on, don't stop. Living life, laying low, stay down. Step outside, pocket us, smoke a blunt. Ride the waves, pitch your vibe real high. Let it flow, keep it on, don't stop. Living life, laying low, stay down. Move clouds from the moon and fuck this fucking tune. Trench low, trench coat. When we're down there, we still bloom. Tread strong, stay you. When it rains, don't you feel gloom. Stand tall and keep the view. Over and over, I go through the motions. Try not to get stuck down. Real G's move in silence. I plan in my quiet. What goes around comes around. Yeah. Step outside, pocket us, smoke a blunt. Ride the waves, put your vibe real high. Let it flow, keep it on, don't stop. Living life, laying low, stay down. Step outside, pocket us, smoke a blunt. Ride the waves, put your vibe real high. Let it flow, keep it on, don't stop. Living life, laying low, stay up. Live your life, stay up.
That was Salyse with the track called E04 Make sure you support our indie artists. It's available on all digital platforms. Make sure you get yourself a copy. Thank you, Salyse. And as we said already, we hope you keep us in touch. You keep in touch and keep us posted of any new projects. And we'll be happy to share that with all our listeners.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really, really appreciate being here and speaking with you. And for the listeners, I hope you'll have a beautiful day. Be sure to follow me on social media at Salyse Official. That's SALYSE Official on all social media platforms.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day, y'all.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.